There we are. Thank you, Tom. That was so informative. I don't really, my head's so full of stuff, I don't even have any questions.
It was a great talk. I started writing questions and then all of a sudden Tom would answer them. So I didn't.
Well, if anyone does have questions, I mean, I did write a 51-page paper about this and it's posted out there. So there's more details in there. I may have put some color commentary in here, but I invite you to read the paper that I wrote, and I think it might help to answer questions that people do have.
It looks like we have about 22 to 25 people watching, and we have had one comment from Sue Little who said, I would like to thank Tom for this great program. I can't believe all I did not know about how all the people participated in the war effort. Great to learn. So if anybody else out is watching on Facebook right now and you would like to ask Tom a question, please do so. And in the meantime, we're just going to have a conversation.
That's great from Sue because, she's the president of the Historical Society Trustees, and we're glad to have input like that. And I guess if I had one thing to say on this commentary, I would hope that everybody would go to the York History website and read the articles because, you may not think you had a veteran, and you probably might not have had a veteran in the war, but there's so many names in those articles of people that participated in all these things and there was no economic boundaries. I mean, I saw Dick Stedman, Stedman Woods. I mean, guys like that all participated. You talked about World War I guys like Mellinger, but Cato Philbrook was a Spanish-American veteran, and he was the major of the Home Guard. So he had to be darn near 60. And I know his granddaughter is a member of our group. Ralph Hawks, Hawks's Pharmacy, John Fogg. We went to school with all these John Fogg's kids and grew up with all these people. But I would encourage everybody to read your article on our website because it just gives so much more to what we talked about, what you talked about. Excellent.
I would like to say, Tom, I've read your paper probably twice. And today I actually learned even more because when you explained it, it was so interesting. It just filled in every question I might have had.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that I could have written even more in some of the cases, but I didn't want to put too many people to sleep. I don't think you put anyone to sleep on this information, but but I did try to limit certain things. I limited a lot of information about these fire control towers that were built by the Army Coast Artillery up and down the coast. And because I did a lot of additional research on Portsmouth Harbor and the submarine nets that were put in and the submarine detection and the cooperation between the Army and the Navy in guarding the Portsmouth Harbor area. I didn't put a lot of that in there, but certainly because it really didn't relate to York directly, but there is more information certainly that I could have maybe done.
It sounds like there's potential for 2 chapters.
Well, there is, but again, what I tried to do is I tried to focus it onto York on this because this is a York history group. So if I started to get carried away on what was happening in Portsmouth or something, then I felt it was a little bit off course. So, but nevertheless, this probably won't be the last paper I write because I seem to get a little bit carried away with some of this history. I've written stuff on St. Aspenquid Park and trains and trolleys in York and everything. And usually my problem is that I have trouble limiting the amount of material that I write about, but I have a good time. I learned from it all too. This was a period of time that was very interesting to me. My parents were married in May of 1942, and I wanted to know about them, what they experienced back then. So there was a little bit of selfishness here too, to be able to figure out, what did my parents go through? What were they thinking? How did they volunteer? And it kind of mushroomed into this. So I learned a lot about the volunteer piece and the contributions that so many people made to World War II. So it was worthwhile for me personally.
If I could make one more quick comment, Tom, the barn that Eddie Cooper and the Gilchrist guy walked to, I remember that barn. If maybe Elaine remembers where Roddy McManus lived, across from Roaring Rock Road. The White House is still there.
Yeah.
And there's a white fence where that barn, there was a brown barn there for years. They just tore it down recently. It looked very much like Al McCurry's barn.
I was thinking, when I read that article, it said that, they started their walk at the barn.
That's a long walk, man. Down back.
Yeah.
And the other thing, the scrap drive, Mike Dow had me forever looking for. The town of York had two cannons, like the one up in front of the old jail, but they had them on the town common between the town hall and the first parish. They put them out there in 1900, and they used that as a town common. They had two big cannons. Ginny Spiller had told Mike Dow she remembers seeing a picture, but doesn't know what happened to cannons. Well, anyways, Mike Dow had me saying, "Where's the cannons? Who got them? So I chased that forever, and I found that they actually were up behind the mausoleum in the cemetery, because the stands fell apart or whatever, and they came and got them for the scrap drive in 1942. So we know what happened to the town cannons there. So that's all.
Interesting.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tom. I think what you've done is extremely generous and really well put together, organized. Your thoughts are so fluid, and you just carried me along, and I'm sure other viewers also.
Good.
So
That's great.
Glad to participate, and glad that we had participation online too. So that's really good.
Yeah.
And it's 5:59, and we were thinking, well, we'd go from 4 to 5. Oh, it's 6 o'clock now. Oh, gee.
Hold on.
If everybody here just holds on for a minute, I'm going to go off Facebook, and we'll just have we'll wrap up. And so hold on just a second.
All right.